developed a 501c3 and then, oh!
You see, I'm petrified.
Yeah, exactly. Hey! He and, I know, hi baby. He and the other ones, they'll probably join here in a second. Hi, Jesus! Woo! Same thing. This is definitely something to juggle.
Hello, I'm Dominic Damaski, and this is Discovering Inspiration. On this episode, me and my son, cameraman Cameron, traveled to the rolling hills of Latrobe, Pennsylvania to meet Candy Valentino, an animal lover and founder of Animal Friends of Westmoreland. Candy, the volunteers, supporters, and donors have saved thousands of animals at Animal Friends of Westmoreland. Today, we're visiting their next big initiative, The Sanctuary, a safe haven for farm animals that will leave you smiling and inspired.
William loves the scratches. Huh. There we go. Hi, Louie.
We are here with Candy Valentino from Animal Friends of Westmoreland at The Sanctuary. What got you started saving animals?
So for probably, gosh, my whole life, I mean, since I was about 8 years old, I always wanted to bring in every stray dog, every stray cat, everyone that needed a home. I just always had empathy for what they were going through. I just always kind of like resonated with the animals really well, even as a kid.
Right.
So I, kind of taking all the strays in, and then bought a building, and when I was 26, I was kind of like, you know what, why don't we make this official and actually start an animal shelter, because the area had such another need for another shelter. So started just rescuing dogs and cats.
Do you think the animals know that you're helping them?
I think they do. So it's a funny thing when you rescue animals. They either, if they're from an abusive situation, they either respond one or two ways. They are aggressive or they retreat in fear. And it's kind of like humans. We do the same things, right? If we go through a painful experience, we either become aggressive and try to put up all these walls and kind of keep everybody out, or we're fearful and nervous. And these animals in the very beginning are very, very fearful. They know that they were in, they're very, very smart. Like William, one of our pigs, he knows his name. He can sit just like your dog. Our cows can run around in the fields and play with balls. So they're definitely very smart. They know when they're in danger and they know when they're safe. Sometimes they've been through so much abuse that it takes a really long time for them to understand that they are okay and that's not going to happen to them again. Around this way.
Coop.
That's
We gotta go to the coop.
Hi, Brad. You're molting. Molting is when they lose their feathers. Hi.
Does every animal here have its own name?
Yes, they all have their own names. They all have their own personalities. They all have their likes and dislikes. Like these guys don't actually like each other. That's why they're in separate pens. But these guys were saved from Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my goodness.
So we rescued them just days before they were slaughtered, and they would have been last Thanksgiving's dinner. And so we appreciate them and love them, and they're awesome.
Somehow I offended the goats because you'll see on this day they wanted a piece of me.
501c3, and then oh,
No,
we'll go to a different section.
no, you're good. You're good. So, and because you see, I'm petrified.
Yeah, exactly. Hey. So it's really interesting. A lot of times, goats they'll actually do that as a form of play. You might get to see they'll lock horns, they'll butt heads. It's just the way that they actually play. But for us as humans, we don't have horns, we don't have that heart. So they do it to your leg, it hurts, But they're really not trying to hurt you.
Since you started Animal Friends of Westmoreland, how many dogs, cats, and animals do you think you have saved?
So the really cool thing about what we do, and really what anybody does, whether it's nonprofit or in their business or in their family, is we directly save animals' lives, but then also because of us stepping up and doing what we do with our mission, we indirectly save a lot of animals' lives too. So directly as an organization, we've saved over 5,000 animals, dogs, cats, and then of course all the animals that reside here at the sanctuary. But what we can't measure is all of the indirect lives that we've saved. People that also want to go out and adopt instead of buying a dog, or people that see a stray animal on the side of the road and step up for it rather than just drive on to work. Or people that come and visit the sanctuary and are like, wow, all of these animals are really incredible and they're so similar to my dog. And then they start thinking differently about the animals that they eat. So indirectly, the ripple effects created are probably in the millions.
Being that you've been so close to this for so long, how does it make you feel when you know that animal that came in might have been abused and now it found its forever home? It walks out, they carry it out however that happens, and you know in here that it found its forever home. How's that make you feel?
It's the best feeling. I mean, and it's really the only reason, you know, there's a lot of people see the animals and see what we do and it looks maybe glamorous to some, or oh, that looks so nice. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of grit, it's been a lot of grind, it's a lot of sleepless nights and get up early and miss vacations and things like that because of what we're doing and how we're growing. But to know that these animals that didn't have another option, that we gave them that second chance, that our volunteers and our staff and the organization surrounded them, and now they're living an amazing, loving life in another home, it's really the only thing that keeps me going, and I know it's the only thing that keeps really our volunteers and our staff going. So it's so rewarding to be a part of something and contribute to something that really has no benefit of yourself. You know, to just give and contribute, it's the best feeling in the world. And I think that's a lot of people, when they are stuck in life, it's because they're not contributing, they're not giving enough, and they're not showing up and serving others, and they're looking more inward.
Who is this here?
This is Emma. She is a rescued, she was actually a little teeny tiny pot-bellied mini pig, which there is no such thing, so that's good for all of your listeners to know. There is no such thing as mini pigs. They all grow up to be about this size. But she was actually advertised on Craigslist as a feeder pig for a pig roast.
Okay.
I saw the ad, drove about an hour, got her, and pretty much raised her from a baby.
What does feeder pig mean?
So feeder pig is actually what happens when people have big litters of pigs. So kind of like a backyard farmer that doesn't necessarily farm. They might have a couple pigs, breed a couple pigs, and then they sell them to be used to grow for a pig roast. It's okay. It's okay. He's not coming.
5,000 animals. What made you make the jump from dogs and cats to pigs and things like that? Is it just a natural progression, or do they come into the shelter? How's that work out?
So what I saw was there are so many organizations in the last 14 years. When I started it, there weren't enough. And then more and more rescue groups, which is incredible, have come along and started fostering and started different programs for dogs and cats. But there aren't any animal protection laws for farm animals. There aren't, I mean, literally somebody could have bought her, grown her, and put her on a spit to roast her at a pig roast. And that just is like heartbreaking to me. So because there's no laws for humane practice, because there's no animal protection laws, that was where I was like, wait a minute, like I feel like we're missing a whole boat when we say we're animal lovers, but we have all these other animals that need our help. So I wanted to make sure that we could bridge the gap and be able to rescue all species of animals, so that's why we bought the sanctuary. This was actually a cattle farm at one time, and renovated it to now save all of the animals that used to once be here.
So they said you were crazy when you started the first shelter. When you said, I'm buying a farm out in the middle of nowhere, what did they think then?
I think that was when everyone started to really question my sanity. But I think also since I had a track record of being crazy, they kind of let it go. You know, farm sanctuaries don't really exist in our area. And there aren't any that for sure have a farm sanctuary and an adoption center. There are a few across the country, mainly out in California. There's one in Tennessee. But there's really not many of them. And I think it's really important for people to understand and be able to meet the animals at the farm, just because they're awesome. I mean, Emma actually knows her colors. Right. She can tell the difference between red, blue, and yellow. She knows how to sit. She rolls over for belly rubs. So it gives people a chance to interact with animals and see how smart and amazing that they are.
How much does this little beauty here weigh?
About 150 pounds. I know what you were doing. I know what you were doing. She wanted in there. That's where the food is. Look at what I got.
Now, Candy, these boots cannot be customary for working at the barn.
But hang on, grabby. Here, I'm not. But the one thing is always be you, right? Be authentic, be yourself, and I love high heels. So I can rescue animals and shovel up cow stuff and do all of that, but I like good shoes, so I just be me. So there's two parts of what we actually do here at the sanctuary. One is obviously rescuing the animals, whether they were neglected. We have cases where they were just, people had them on a farm and they just picked up and moved and left all their animals behind. Some of them died, some of them were extremely anemic, some of them were extremely emaciated. It just depends on the situation, right? So we rescue those animals, obviously, provide medical care, get them healthy. The second phase is interacting kids, adults and kids, to basically be able to meet the animals, because you don't normally have a chance to do that, right? You might know someone that their dad's a farmer, but you don't really get to meet the animals up close and personal. So we're gonna have a kids program, which we're in the process of hiring someone for, where we'll bring in at-risk youth, kids that have been severely abused themselves, kids that have been neglected, kids that are maybe part of the foster system, kids that have similar stories of trauma that these animals have had, where they were either neglected themselves or not wanted or abused. A lot of times what we find is kids that have gone through traumatic experiences, they react the exact same way as the animals do. They either become very aggressive and put up walls and keep everybody out, or they get very recluse and don't want to interact with people. So a child that maybe suffered at the hands of maybe a middle-aged man isn't going to trust you to come into your office and talk to them as the guidance counselor, right? But if they meet a cow that was severely beaten by a man and they hear the story of the cow, it starts to kind of just let their walls fall down to just understand that healing is possible. So that's kind of what we're doing, is just providing hope and healing to people that have also suffered traumatic experiences or painful pasts.
Animal Friends of Westmoreland is doing so much good. How can we contribute to your cause?
So all nonprofit organizations basically need two things. They always need more funds to carry out their mission, and they need more volunteer help in order to help kind of facilitate everything that happens on a day-to-day basis, caring for the animals, walking dogs at the shelter, working in the office. You know, we always have a need for dog walkers and animal caregivers here at the sanctuary too. But then there's also people that might be watching this and they're like, well, you know what, maybe I'm not physically able to do that, but I can really talk on the phone great, or I'm really great at fundraising, or I'm great at, you know, communications with emails. We always need all types of volunteers like that to be able to do things more behind the scenes, kind of like what I do. So that's definitely one huge piece, is volunteer support. The other one is funding. We've now, obviously for 14 years, rescued thousands of animals on our own directly. What we need to do second is now to be able to get our at-risk youth program off the ground, which is funding for a specific person that needs to run that organization, which is not me. Somebody that has the clearances and has the background to work with kids to be able to kind of bring life to that. And that's funding. We actually have people that we know that would be tremendous for that, but we just need to raise money to be able to support that initiative.
Lucy. Hi, Goose. How are you, buddy? Hi, buddy. Want to fly?
Now this is one big cow.
This is.
Now it has horns. Does that make it a bull?
Yes. So we have 4 boys that are bulls. They were actually rescued from a slaughter auction. I bottle fed him for 2 months.
So
7 a.m., 7 p.m. Huh?
When he was little.
When he was little. He and I know, hi baby. He and the other ones, they'll probably join here in a second. Hi, Jesus. Woo! Hi, Jesus. Hi, buddy. Jesus was only a day old when we rescued him. All of these boy cows were part of the dairy industry. So something that a lot of people don't know. Hi. Oh, you have a burr in your hair. Hang on. There, I got it. What a lot of people don't know is that when in the dairy industry, when they birth a boy cow, it's not of use to the dairy industry. Don't bite my clothes. So they actually then take the babies from the mom and they put them in a veal crate, and that's how veal is produced. Veal was basically just created as a byproduct of what to do with all the boy cows that were born. So these boys would have been killed at 8 weeks old. They've celebrated their 2-year birthdays with us.
At the sanctuary. So Buddha and Jesus, they're going to live here forever?
They will live here forever, yeah. We have vets that come and take care of them. They've taken care of them along the way as their needs change as they get older. But yeah, they're doing great. And really, other than when they were babies and they were so sick, they are super healthy. They have full range here at the sanctuary. And they'll be able to give lots of cow hugs to a lot of people
so much for these animals. Do you think it makes you a different person in your personal life?
Oh, absolutely. I just think that the reason that we're here, hi Mary, I think that the reason that we're here on earth is to just give and to contribute to causes that are outside of ourselves. You know, if you just all your whole life, you're just trying to work and make money and just have all of the things, I think everyone's going to get to the end of their life and they're going to feel unfulfilled. And I think that's what's going to lead to regret. I think when you're able to contribute to something that's really important to you and see really the fruits of those labors of what you're saving and what you're doing, I think that's where it's at. It really takes all types of people in order to make this work. It takes really dedicated staff. It takes really dedicated volunteers, which we have, and they're absolutely amazing. But it also takes, it's a lot of hard work to do this, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because this is going to create a legacy. The people that interact with these animals, the people that come here, the kids that see these animals and understand that they have hope, that they can heal from their trauma and their abuse, that's what's going to change the world. Not a bucket full of money and a big business.
Candy, you may not know it, but you are juggling a lot of balls here.
Yeah.
How do
So
you,
I'm told.
Yeah, how do you handle all that?
Some days not well. So anyone that's watching this that thinks like, oh, you have to have it all together, no, you just have to have a desire to just figure it out. I run multiple businesses. I run this. We have the shelter. We have the sanctuary. Like, we have a lot of things going on that are personally like my responsibility to make sure happen. But I don't know. I just feel like it's a life well lived when you know that you're making a difference. And it's a life, like, to me, I just think to, make a bunch of money, retire, go to the beach, right? That's like everyone's dream. But I'm thinking, doesn't that beach get old after a while?
Hey, what are you doing? Don't see you're closing her? What are you doing? Wow. Don't close it. You gotta go out. No. You want it open or closed? Go ahead. Go ahead out. Come on. Let's go this way. Come on. You're gonna get the chain. Hang on. Gotta go that way. Gotta go that way. You gotta go that way. You gotta go that way, mister. You gotta go that way. 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 You gotta go that way, mister. You gotta go that way. Close it. No, you guys aren't allowed in here.
You guys have so much going on, and you have so many events, and you're doing different things. Now, you have an event coming up soon. Do you want to tell us what's going on?
Yeah, sure. So we have the White Party. It's October 18th. So anyone that's in the Pittsburgh region, anyone that's kind of within driving distance of Pennsylvania, it's a great event. We had it for the last 2 years here at the Sanctuary. Just logistically was a nightmare to host an event.
Can't wear white here,
oh my gosh,
right?
crazy. So we're going to take it back to Lakeview, which is right on Route 30 in Greensburg. It's an auction, it's a gala, it's a lot of fun. We have music. There's always like a live, silent, and Chinese auction where we auction off items that directly support the animals. And the really cool thing about our organization is, like we talked about earlier with the volunteers and how awesome they are, what people don't understand is because we're not a massive organization as far as I don't get paid, we don't have a paid board, we don't have a paid CEO. I've donated my time for the last 14 years to just off the ground and running. So we save a lot of money, which means that your donations go directly to the cause, to the animals. So it's a great event to come to. We always have a lot of great food, and there's always a lot of great items. And it's great camaraderie because you're around a lot of animal lovers that want to make a difference.
If you could say something to all the people that have pitched in and contributed over the years, what would you say?
Oh gosh, I don't even know that I have words for that, to be honest with you. For the last 14 years, from construction to we literally built out the shelter with volunteers. We operated with one staff person and volunteers for years, and then we slowly added another staff person and added another staff person. So, I mean, we wouldn't be where we are without all of the help and support of people within the community, businesses that donated to our events, people that showed up at events when we were first starting and there was only like 90 people there, and I think I knew 85 of them, So I don't really have words for that. I do my absolute best to make sure that they know how much we appreciate them and recognize them, but it's something that needs to be said every single day because it's truly the backbone of our organization, and we couldn't do what we do without all of the volunteer support. So we're just so grateful for them. I have such immense gratitude for each person that has helped expand this mission, whether it was for one day, 1 year, or for the last 10 years. And he will let you do this all day.
Volunteers, donors, loving farm animals, an angry goat, and Candy Valentino, the passionate founder of Animal Friends of Westmoreland. Today we learned inspiration is everywhere. Please check out Animal Friends of Westmoreland and their new sanctuary and get behind an organization doing so much good. As we learned today, the ripple effect of kindness has no limits. If you like the episode, please subscribe and please share.